Optimizing images for web use. Optimization. Optimization is creating files at a fraction of the size. We're saving the files in a format that balances the need to keep high quality and detail and to show accurate color against the overall file size. Photoshop lets us do that comparison amongst pretty common web formats. And so we're looking at how we can really maintain the quality of our graphics, but yet have a reasonable small file size so that our images will load fairly quickly on the web. To get to our optimization box, we need to do the Save for Web dialog box. Now this has changed in different versions of Photoshop. Under the File menu, if you're working on an older version of Photoshop, you may have actually a Save for Web located right here with the Save and Save As. In the previous version, it was a Save for Web or Save for Devices. Now we actually have to go to Export and Save for Web Legacy. So Legacy just means it's pulling it from the older version of Photoshop. And this is what I want because it will open up this box. This is the Save for Web dialog box. Now this box can be viewed in different tabs. There are 4 different tabs up here at the top. We have Original, which this is my original graphic, and I can zoom out a little bit down here so you can see everything that's going on. Now you're seeing my slices. That's what the little blue indicator in the top left corner of these boxes are. If I were to print this, you would not see slices. Slices do not print, but I can see them here in this Save for Web. I can also do the optimized, and so this is where Photoshop is trying to compress it. Now if I go back to original, take a look here. This is the information that I am most concerned with. This is my original example.psd Photoshop document. It's 2.15 megabytes, so it's fairly large. Now if I go to optimized, you might see that my color red gets a little bit darker, maybe a little bit more grain here. The hand changes a bit, but what Photoshop did is it tried to compress it in what it thought was the best. It made it be a GIF, and it is now 28.55 kilobytes. That's a significant change. We also have a 2-up, which gives us our original versus an optimized, and you can see the comparables here. Then I also have a 4-up, and this allows me to look at the original in the top left along with 3 different other versions. And so I can select an optimized file format and play around with it and see what happens to my quality. So let's talk about what options we have here. So in this one, there is a GIF, which stands for Graphic Interchange Format or Graphical Interchange Format. And we know that GIFs can support transparency. They are compressed by limiting colors, and so we call it a lossless compression. It's a 8-bit format. The maximum number of colors that we can have here is actually 256. So it is limiting the total number of colors. It does support 1 transparent color. This is really good for logos, vectors, animation. It can support transparency, but what it's not good at is photos. And you can see this one's not horrible. As we change some of the settings, though, you'll notice it can change significantly. You can see already a little bit of color, a little bit of banding happening here in the hand where it's solid chunks of color. The next, I'm going to click down here and we're going to change to a JPEG. Joint Photographic Experts Group is what JPEG stands for, and you can see the settings associated. So in each one of these previews, I can really play around with my settings to see how I can compress it but yet not lose my quality. So this is compressed in a JPEG by discarding image pixels. So it says I'll keep pixel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get to 6, I throw it away. I don't care what color it is. I don't care where it lands in my graphic. I'm throwing it. I'll keep 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'll throw away 11. That's how the JPEG compression works. So it's a lossy compression because we are indeed losing image pixels. Notice though that my hands in photos, things that have a continuous blending of color, JPEGs are definitely the way to go. So we can play around with that setting, but typically our JPEGs are going to be a little bit higher. Now, especially if I take my quality and go to very high here, look at how that changed my download and my total size. Now, if we go to the last one here, and let's look at a PNG. So we have a couple different versions of a PNG. It stands for Portable Network Graphics, and we can again support transparency here. And these are again compressed by limiting color. So they're good for drawings, for logos, for again some transparency related items. They have a lossless compression. You can see that this is my color table here on. I'm clicking on the slice of my hand, and that's what we're looking at for comparables. So you can see that actually this gave me the fastest download, approximate 5 seconds. This was a 7-second, and this JPEG was an 11-second. So what you do is you play with the different settings for each one of these so that you can get the smallest file, the fastest download, but still maintaining a high quality. Now, just as a side note, I can export an image with transparency in Photoshop if I save it in either a PNG or a GIF format. If I save it in a JPEG, I do not get transparency. And also, if I just do a simple old file save as, not go to save for the web, it's not going to preserve any of my slices, any links or animations that I've placed in that document. So this is the way to go for saving for the web. It's the way that we can optimize our images for web use.